I love it. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down Asgore from Undertale. Boom! Chiptune, naturally. Okay, that's what's really cool. I like the melody; it's pretty cool too. Also, the drums are creating an acute amount of tension, so something's going on. Okay. Oh wow, it changed drastically here. This is way more foreboding. And listen to those choirs. Yeah, this contrast to what we heard before. We will listen to the rest in a bit. I have to say that this song has something that left me stunned. It has a very particular characteristic that I have never ever spoken about in the channel, simply because no other track I have broken down have had it. You see, when I was listening to the first half of a song, I was paying attention to the chord progression of it, and I started to realize where this was going in terms of the harmony and the storytelling, until I started playing them chords, only to realize I couldn't find the right notes anywhere. But then it hit me. Sneaky Fox here is using microtonality. Now, what in the bloody hell is microtonality? Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, let's take these two notes in the piano, for example. We can see that they are the most adjacent to each other. If we magnify this, each of these notes have a very specific pitch. However, even though there is no other note in between these two notes in the piano, there's a range of other pitches in between these two notes. So all those pitches, sons of pitches, can be considered microtones. Now, in order to play microtones, you will need to either increase or decrease in a very surgical way the tuning of an instrument. Or you could also use a pitch shifter, which is an audio effect that allows you to manipulate the pitch. Also, there's very exotic instruments around that can actually play microtones by default, like a microtonal guitar, for example. In fact, I can give you a very easy example of the sound of a microtone. Right here, this is the pitch wheel of my MIDI controller. This will allow me to control the pitch of a note. I can raise it, or I can lower it. Well, a microtone will sound something like this. That is a microtone, but if I let go of the wheel, you will hear the original pitch of that note. And you know, I was thinking, what is really the purpose, storytelling-wise, for something so specific? Is it just a meme that Toby is doing, or does it have a deeper meaning? I think it's the latter. If you really compare the difference in pitch in between the microtone and the nearest note, it is very small. So in a sense, it's like something is hidden at plain sight. Have you ever met a person that seemed completely fine? There was something about them and you couldn't tell what it was. I think this is why Toby decided to use it here. And listen, I don't know what Asgore is about, and this is going to be a giga tinfoil theory right here, but my guess is that it is a character that at plain sight gives you a certain impression, but there's something about him that is so shallow that you can perceive yet can't point out what it is exactly. And if this is the case, this is brilliant. By the way, if you made it this far, thank you so much. So while you're at it, why don't you softly and ever so gently press that like button? Let's continue the second theme, I think. This is another theme. We have had 2 themes, I think, so far. Well, I guess they're different faces or something. Oh! It's doing a counterpoint here. Very interesting. Another drastic change here. This must be another phase too. Sounds melancholic though. And it goes back to the struggle again. Wow, that bass arrangement is pretty cool. Before I end this video though, there's more elements that I need to address that really forwards the storytelling of this character. The first one has to do with the chord progression and drum pattern. One of the beginning cues sound somewhat endearing and forthright, albeit with its moments of tension, but overall, especially with the chord extensions, it sounds encouraging, you know, power through the difficulties. However, the drums insert a lot of imperativeness, a lot of tension, you know, high stakes, so something is going on. The second one is the change in the cues. The song changes dramatically here. We can hear the theme in a lowered register. You know, everything sounds more foreboding and the drums turn to something more martial, you know, something more military-like. So I think this contrast is what really starts to show the duplicity of this character. And we begin to see clearly that shallowness he had that we couldn't point out, but now it's becoming obvious. The third one is the use of counterpoint. Counterpoint is basically doing 2 melodies at the same time. Now, the counter melody that we hear in this cue is the theme that we heard previously in the song, but it's in the back, almost overshadowed by the main melody or the main phrase in this case. You know, and this makes me feel struggle because maybe there's even a clash of emotions inside the character because those 2 melodies or those 2 themes are clashing. So it's either that or a clash in personality, something along those lines. And these 2 melodies seem to sort of destroy each other to give room to the piano piece and the eventual resolution of the whole song, which makes total sense because if none of the themes are present towards the end, was the struggle that Asgore was going through so much that it eventually ended bad for him. Because I tell you something, that piano cue doesn't sound like he's in a good place, you know? It sounds like he's watching a rainy day through a foggy window, you know, all statch and stuff. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and check this other Undertale reaction that I did, alright? I'll see you there.